You were sharing. How do we sell
So
ourselves, and as what?
all relationshiping is transactional. And so a lot of what you do is advertising. Now the difficulty is that what is good advertising in one monoculture may be not so good in another. So it depends on the crowd that you're running around with. So you can look at yourself as a costume that you've chosen
Hmm.
to advertise about yourself. And so then you get to take pictures of yourself and say, in my culture, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then you can say, oh, I wonder how this is going to show up if I go down to meet a bunch of guys at the local KKK club.
Mhm.
Probably won't go very well.
Hmm.
And so usually you're dressing yourself for the theater of your own mind. You think you look cool or suave or debonair or ugly or charismatic or
How do you style yourself, Craig?
me. Um, Grumpy. I try to put something out there that if people aren't interested in something other than superficial masturbation, that they're going to reject me.
Hmm.
And so how do I come across as somebody who on the surface you shouldn't pay any attention to, but if you're like, he does look like a fat old, arrogant, self-centered, son of a bitch. But what's he actually saying? Now, if you can get past that, I have reverse advertising. I want people to go away.
Because you want only the people who have like the ears to hear to stick around. It's a filter.
No, they all have ears to hear. It's just that they don't have a brain to process.
Hmm.
If you're going to get caught up in what the fashion of the moment is, I mean, if somebody's going to stimulate me in a BDSM scenario, I don't want them using a fucking tiger claw.
What do you want
You know,
them
what kind
using?
of, yeah, their fingers, their nails. I would want them to bring out a very special um Japanese knife. Something that shows that they had to put some thought into it. The fucking tiger eye, claw. That's at any junk store. It's at any thrift store.
Hmm.
No sophistication.
Hmm. Sophistication isn't in the item; it's in the experience.
Yeah, but you have to get to the experience. Your ability, how you are with pain play, may be very different than how you show up. I grant you.
Yeah.
But if you have a shitty storefront, there ain't going to be people coming through.
Yeah. To your point, if you need people coming through, then you should advertise in a way that gets it.
Yep. And if you're satisfied with the way that you're getting what you're getting by the way that you're showing up, it shows how stupid your character is. You could
Hmm.
be doing much better.
Hmm. You think, what would you advise? Yeah. In the case here with you're fine with using your name.
Yes, yes.
With Sage.
Oh God, Sage. He's either a plant or pretending to have wisdom. Yeah, loser in either case. I would say the 180 is to come across as sophisticated. Wear button-down shirts, have a nice, sort of culturally normative haircut.
Mm.
Have them pay attention to your eyes. Have them pay attention to the way that you move,
Mm.
not the way that your hair is.
Mm.
Your advertising is all surface stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To people who like to play with toys, that's enough. People who want to play a little bit deeper into the game, how do they know that you can play deeper in the game?
Mm-hmm. So your strategy for finding those people is
make the attention game easy by turning off the superficial people.
I would rather spend less time with muggles and more time with magicians. And if there was a magician in the room, what would you think about you, he or she or it? What would they think? If I was in the room with you and I walked by you, I would say there's a child who likes to wear a particular kind of clown suit. And if somebody's wearing a clown suit, I really don't want to interact with them. I have a few things, like if somebody starts talking about God, if somebody starts talking about their soul, I'm like, I'm going to move along now, okay? Because usually those people and me don't like to play in the same places. I could be wrong.
So what are the places you like to play?
That you are not the character that you identify as I, that there's no truth, that there are no values, that human adults can talk about anything. Are you having the life that you want to have? And, you ask Jeffrey Dahmer if he's having the kind of life he wants to have. And for a time he was. So what your character wants probably bears some investigation. Hang on, I lost half a pistachio.
I really enjoy this version of Cray. I'm wondering what happens such that you have a very different affect, or like much more.
I spent 5 days driving cross country.
And that, what do you?
I've consumed about an ounce of rum in the last 20 minutes.
You're sedated.
Not at first. When you drink alcohol, it's not sedation. It's usually excitant. Later on, it acts as a suppressant, but not in the beginning.
Any
You're
main
suppressing.
from the interaction or your interview with Christina that you're open for sharing, that you think might be relevant to Sage?
I've forgotten. I don't remember what you said.
How do you think Sage and I can dance more effectively within this house here?
I don't. It's like asking me, what kind of grandchildren do you think Sage and I will have? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Given that he's showing up like that, he probably has some neat, really cool little places that he can invite muggles into that they don't normally experience, and you could use him to get people in the door and then do a winnowing process. I think if he wants to step up his game, I think he's capable, but he's going to have to give up a lot of the egoic satisfaction that he gets from whoever buys what he's doing now. That's usually what happens. You put away your clown suit and put on something else, and you really miss what that clown suit got you. Because right now, theoretically, he's relying on his ego or his primal character to tell him what he wants. And that stems from all that, messed up stuff that happened to him in his childhood. He hasn't sat down and said, as a man, as an adult, what do I want to have happen in my life?
And that's evidenced by your judgment of your belief that his adornments are superficial.
Yep. How many look around at the things that have testicles and see how many of them dress like him? Not many.
And signifiers of things that have testicles are
things that have testicles.
Male-bodied creatures.
Like what? Like, so like you might say like Cabjin, and like what are the point-outable signifiers?
On who? Mike?
Yeah. Well, Mike and or lack of whatever you want to create it as.
Oh, you stand Sage up. Take a picture of him from the front, take a picture, do a rotation or something. What are the signifiers that catch your eye of his costume?
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Do the same thing with Alton. Make sure his hands are spread so you can see his fingernails. Do the same thing with Mike Cabjan. Mike Cabjan doesn't, the people are not really noticing what he's wearing. They're looking at his eyes. They're looking at his face. They're looking at how he walks. He's seen as a threat by most people.
Mm.
Something dangerous. No one would ever accuse Sage of being dangerous.
Mm.
Practices to slowly evoke Sage's more dangerous sides would be.
Well, probably with Sage, you want to. And again, I don't know if he's satisfied with his clown suit. Why are we messing with him?
Wow, if he's satisfied with his clown suit, that's like a pretty strong frame.
One old man's opinion.
So it looks like a clown suit to you.
Yep.
You haven't invested very much like attention or curiosity to know what it actually means to me. Is that judgment satisfying to you?
It's not a judgment, it's an analysis. Judgment has right or wrong in it.
Mm. Well, analysis has factually correct or incorrect.
No, it may be incorrect. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
To me, you're speaking English, you're Caucasian, you're male, you're hanging out in Alton's house. You and he are acquainted. So that gives me some biases. And you look pleasant. You look like you don't like offending people.
Mm-hmm.
No. And you walk quietly. You've been taking lessons from TikTok?
Read some of this stuff.
Yeah, of course you have.
Mm.
Mindfulness, yes.
Do you follow the Enneagram system?
I know of it.
Mm.
What are you?
Enneagram type 9.
Oh, one of the rare ones. I'm a
Is that right?
counterphobic 6.
I don't know the breakdown of commonality, but type 9 is the peacemaker, the avoidant one.
Oh, yeah, good. So now you're trapped by your Enneagram heritage?
Hmm. Enneagram also gives you like a path of growth. And one of them, I mean, for a type 9 is leaning into the more dangerous parts of yourself.
Hmm. Theoretically. The map is not the territory.
Hmm. What do you mean by that?
All maps are shadows of the territory.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean that it's real.
Hmm.
You can make an excuse out of being a 9, or you can just say, fuck it, I want to do this.
It's a reason to try to do this. What would you
Why?
recommend trying?
For you, I would say try to find your fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And don't forget, dangerous can be many things. I was abused in the name of love as a small child quite a bit. And so I grew up being phobic of love. Love was dangerous to me.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Think about it.
Jealousy feels dangerous to me. Anger feels dangerous.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, you can understand why a 6-year-old child would think that. Why would you as an adult think that jealousy or anger is dangerous? Somebody going to die? Probably not.
Yeah.
You start expressing it, that 6-year-old starts playing the tapes of what happened to you when you were 6 and you did something that it now labels as jealousy or rage.
Yeah.
Wasn't very pleasant. The problem is all those inner children, they still think now is then. It isn't.
What might be some ways that you recommend playing with anger or jealousy?
Walk into situations that you think somebody of your culture, it would make them jealous or make them mad, and try to be mad. Practice.
Is there a way you'd like setting that up in the house?
Yeah, get the big punching bag and the carpet and the aluminum baseball bat.
All right.
And then have Sage focus on some sort of present day thing that he thinks would give him rage, and then practice. And then once he gets halfway decent at it, make it be about his childhood and let his childhood beat up his mommy or his daddy or the milkman or whatever it is.
I'll ping Colin about that now.
Hmm?
I'll ping Colin again about it.
Yeah. Well, went through 1 ounce, but luckily I have another 1.5 ounces here.
Ooh, perfect.
Well, any others you want to take on? Any other questions? I mean, like, great.
What happens if you don't wear any of your jewelry? What happens if you have a haircut that nobody notices as, oh, that's a strange haircut?
That's the first 31, 32 years of my life.
And why are you? Yeah, for the first 31 years of my life, I was I was an equal opportunity person, and now I'm a racist, whoremongering, misogynist. Just because it's the opposite of what you used to do doesn't mean why would you want to do it?
To experiment,
Oh,
to see how it's going. And for
well,
now,
why don't you drop bowling balls on your foot then? Do it from increasing heights.
I don't need to experiment with that. I know how that's going to go.
No, you don't. Have you ever dropped a bowling ball on your foot?
I can imagine enough to know that I don't
Right.
know the outcome.
And how is what you're doing? What kind of outcome are you looking for?
Attracting the attention of like a different group of people.
Okay, that's great. That's great. What kind of other people? And what kind of attention?
Yeah. People of the sort you would meet at Burning Man.
Have you been to Burning Man?
Yes.
And that works?
In the Bay Area?
No, I mean at Burning Man.
No.
No, it doesn't. No,
Everyone's just the same at Burning Man.
No, they're not dressed the same. They may be dressed like each other. Really, is so 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 if you stand up and look at yourself and say, I want to come across as a tourist who has gone to Burning Man and thought it was pretty cool, I think you've done a great job.
Cool. That's where I'm at right now. So,
well, stop it. Dress in something else. Dress like you're a veteran. Dress like you're dangerous. The best people at Burning Man are the dangerous ones. The best artists are the dangerous artists.
Like who?
I figured you were there. Run through your mind. Do you go to the first aid tent to find dangerous people? No. Go to the communal showers and watch the people who've gone in 3 or 4 times.
I had the most fun at the Shibari camp.
Well, yeah, but what about you says that you do Shibari?
I wore a rope around my waist for most of Burning Man.
Yeah, I know, but now.
Now I just carry my ropes with me most places.
I know, but nobody. You want to be able to walk into a room and people go, "Oh, there's something about him."
Cool.
Go look at the guys or the guys or gals who are well regarded in the rope world as being good at what they do. Doesn't matter if they're wearing silk pajamas or they're wearing a Italian suit or a bikini. There's a certain way of walking, a certain way of being. I don't think you have. That's actually going to get you more of the play that you want, I think.
Gonna get me more of what?
The play that you want, the engagement, the dances. Of course, I would imagine that you're looking for your shibari artist yourself.
Still figuring that out.
Hmm?
Still figuring that out.
What do you mean figuring it out? You go find somebody and you ask them to tie you up.
Yeah. I'm in the process of getting tied up by numerous different people and seeing how it feels.
But how do you want it to feel?
Yeah.
I'm asking you a question.
So far, my favorite experiences are the ones that feel sadistic yet attuned.
Because when they're being sadistic, what do you get to have happen? Who do you get to be? Yeah, that right there, that smile. Yep.
Beautiful.
Who do you get to be when you have a sadistic shibari person working on you? Yeah. Now, practice walking around with that experience echoing in your body and showing people it and see what happens.
Cool. I'll do
Careful.
that.
Careful. You're on thin ice. Wow. That's a lot of delight you're displaying there.
Yeah.
So how do you react to verbal shibari? Look at the monitor. That's how you look when you're having verbal shibari done to you.
Which monitor?
Where you can see yourself. Hang on a second. That little smile will poke through in a second. Yeah. It looks like you like being put in a position where you have to let how you're feeling out.
Yeah.
You can make that every moment if you choose. But not a lot of people like doing shibari on themselves.
So how do I do that every moment?
You insist. The same way that the ropes insist that you give voice to that which is within you. You insist that your will is the same thing as those ropes. And you say, I will speak my truth right here. Because you know if they're sadistic and they're attuned, they're going after that deep expression of yours, if they're good. They know that you want to cry, that you want to scream, that you want to bark like a dog, whatever it is. And they're going to make sure that they're going to do something such that your psychology will fight it really hard, but the ropes will get it out of you. And you can be your own ropes. It's hard. It's a lot easier to make it about somebody else doing it to you.
What's an example of being your own ropes?
Again, I'm 40 years older than you, whatever it is. When you go in there and I'm just assuming you're cisgendered, that you go in there and there's a woman there that you find incredibly attractive rather than taking out your beads and, going through a couple prayers or whatever. You just go, oh my God, I haven't seen such an attractive woman in a very long time.
Then
You walk away. It's not the outcome, it's the expression.
what do you imagine I might be praying in that hypothetical circumstance if I brought out the beads?
That she's not going to notice. She's not going to notice how attractive you think she is, because that's bad and wrong. And you need to have more self-control, or less objectification. I don't know, some sort of bullshit.
That's not what I believe, and that's not what I
What
would
do you
pray
believe?
for. I believe that everyone's better off if I can feel into my feelings, that erotic energy, and be authentic with it.
Well, you're doing a really shit job now.
Am I?
In my
No.
understanding of you, you only know the shallow end. You have no idea what deep eroticism is. Oh, that doesn't work. Jesus. Oh, there, that's better. Finally. Oh, there you go.
How do you recognize when someone knows what deep eroticism is?
You can feel their teeth in their gaze.
Wow. Vivid. I could see that with Mike. Are there other people that you know in pop culture that I could reference Sage or others to model from?
Angelina Jolie when she was not crazy. Who else? I don't know. I don't do much pop culture, so
You have other models in your life?
they're all people that you don't
Wait.
know.
Well, yeah, but I want them to be legible for Sage.
Get Hadelise to get, physically or spiritually naked. Who is that?
You met her before.
I didn't ask if I had met her before. I asked who was that.
Hi.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Right there, Sage. Look at how she is right here.
What's the observation?
Someone who has a greater than shallow dance with eroticism.
I don't know what that means.
Good.
But
Do you
this is
believe
also
her?
about you, right? So
Yeah.
Do you believe she doesn't understand deep eroticism, Sage?
I don't know yet. I haven't had enough.
I'm not asking what you know. I'm asking for your opinion in this moment. This is about the ropes.
I believe so, yes.
Yes. Now, why don't you look at her and say, I believe you know what deep eroticism is all about.
now I got the word.
I believe you know what deep eroticism is all about.
Now I
Now.
know because I acoustically also understood it, but yeah.
So try to deliver it like you're not reading a teleprompter.
Now I know. Now I believe that you know what deep eroticism is all about.
See, her shutting her eyes in my world, her shutting her eyes, she's tasting that in the back of her throat. Okay, go away, Sage. She's much more interesting than you are.
Anyway, no, this is your time. I just wanted
Yeah?
to say hello. I don't know if you're done or like what's the.
I don't know.
Oh, stop it. Jesus Christ. He's a man. If he wants to hog the spotlight, let him rise up and say, sit down. I'm not done with him yet.
What do you feel about it?
I'm interested in seeing you dance. It was great. And I love that you came. And it can mean that you feel ready to try on more teeth in that. And this is a perfect place to practice with Sage.
No, I feel, yeah, but if you're okay with, I mean,
Oh, stop it. Jesus Christ. Stop.
this is, I need to put up the acoustic. Like there is music here and then the sound is very low. I can't even understand you properly. So
Oh,
Well, that's because you're.
how can you understand him?
I
He's a
can hear him well.
guy. Us guys understand each other.
No, like acoustically, it's hard for me to hear you. Not
Yeah.
just the content, but the.
Well, here, let me take. I got this in the mail today, and so I tried it on. How does that? Does that work better?
No, it's the same. But thank
Oh,
you.
fuck.
I think Alton is trying to figure something out.
Might be possible to put on captions.
Yes.
The point is that if you want to assist him in being an adult masculine, you give him something to push back on. You don't take care of him like he's a little teeny tiny baby. Alton does this a lot. He caretakes people's smallness. He's always speaking to what he thinks is their sensitive side. Is everything okay? Is this okay with you? It's like give them a chance to say no.
I think Alton is actually someone who advocates strongly for responsibility for yourself. At least this is how I experience him. But maybe it's because I'm also someone who normally cares for others and looks out for others, maybe more than I should.
Yeah, but
So,
are you caring for their bigness or their smallness, for their wounded, broken parts? Are you giving them a chance to heal? Are you
Okay.
being the wind so that they can get stronger?
I feel that I'm first of all trying to provide a space of safety to where you can feel the wind. So like creating psychologically safety to then
Oh, okay.
feel good and then feel safe enough to practice with your wind. To then take steps alone.
Ugh, sounds boring as shit.
Okay. I feel the way how I push people with kindness into the right direction or the right direction or where I feel they can grow is often fruitful.
Good. Yay. Yay for kindness.
Oh, now I hear you better. I hear you here with a big loudspeaker on the left of my. Okay. I don't get how you can work like with the sound, but maybe it's my ears. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. What do you want?
I'm curious what the topic with Sage was about. I didn't plan to come in because I currently don't feel, to use Alton's words, resourced enough for a verbal punch in my face. How
What do you? I'm not asking what you don't want. I'm asking what you do want.
I listened in earlier just for a brief moment, and you shared that you were scared of love when you were small.
I was reactive to love. I was
And-
abused a lot in the name of love.
Yeah, and that really resonated with me. And I can I can connect to that. And so asking you, or you asking me what I want instead of what I don't want, I believe is feeling trust or safety in myself, or learning to feel open to that with less fear,
Open to what?
open to love.
Okay. Yay. I tell you what, let's go down to the store and we'll get an Oxycontin dose and we'll sit around and we'll feel love.
This is not how it works. I mean, I know that for me at least, that
It's chemicals in your body.
yeah, but I do believe that you need to be open to it and not block it.
You So if you have the chemicals in your body,
Yeah.
they're there. You can pretend they're not there.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can deny it, and then eventually you become empty because you will not be able to find the receptors within yourself. I'm not at that stage right now.
But
So
why
I'm
do you
just
care if
working-
you feel love?
I mean, for me, I do feel a lot of love, and I
Yeah.
feel a lot of care for the people around me, and
Who cares? Why? Does that I guess in your monoculture that makes you a good person.
I go by how things make me feel, and if I feel that my
Jeffrey
thoughts,
Dahmer did the same thing.
that my thoughts, words, and actions are in line, and that I can
Yep.
sense in my center when I'm aligned, and I believe with my moral compass and the way how I want to interact with honesty and directness, but also kindness, that I can feel love and I'm genuine around it. I think what I more mean is like a partnership, or what I meant earlier, the fear that I resonated with, that you shared from when you were small.
Mhm.
For me was, I think my why I resonate, or what resonated with me was more the fear of opening myself up for a relationship, a romantic relationship,
Because
because of the fear of the pain, because I'm scared to repeat the same patterns.
So you want it to be, you want to wave a wand and have it all be easy.
No, I don't at all. This
Then,
is not how I work.
oh,
And I
then who
feel
are you in intimate relationship with right now then?
no one.
Oh, gee, wow. So you're actually not going to the gym.
I am. That's not
You're
true.
not in the gym.
You're prejudging without listening. So I would appreciate if I could finish before you judge.
Too late.
Okay, you can judge, but you don't have the full picture. So I'd like to add something. I do date, and I am open and very curious about people that I meet, and I don't prejudge or try to let people in, and I'm very open with that. But I just on the weekend I felt, and I don't know if that's true. I mean, what's true, but that you need to be more concrete with the things that you want to invite into your life. And I have been always very much vague around, oh, do I want a relationship or not? Because I believe things will happen if they should happen, and I don't want to be too concrete on who I want to be with. And now I was thinking maybe I should be more concrete, and I should speak openly, even though it is connected with a bit of shame for me, to say, hey, I actually want to be in a relationship, and I do want to create a family in the next, let's say, 5 years, and I would like a partner on eye level to do this with. And that took me a while to shout that out to the world. And now that I'm doing that, I'm actually realizing, or I feel that am I even like, I'm in doubt if I'm even ready myself for that.
You're not. And you get to practice. There's Sage there. There's Alton there. You can practice being intimate with them without
Well, they-
crossing the boundaries.
Yes.
If it's about genital sex, then don't do that. But you can practice being intimate with anybody there.
Yeah. No, and
in
I do
such-
have, yeah, sorry. Please.
Oh, you're gonna let me finish my thought
Yeah,
before
that's
you
why I'm
judge
sorry
me?
I
And yeah.
interrupted you. Yeah.
Right? You can practice all of the point is, if you want to get better at intimacy, you have to find the areas that are difficult and then go there and practice.
Yeah.
So there's Sage, there's Alton, there's other people there.
Yes.
And with Sage, there's probably something, okay, that you look at Sage and you go, if we were in love and we were la 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 la, I could dance into this fearful place with you. And I'm like, why don't you just dance into that fearful place anyway?
Hmm.
Why don't you practice being angry with him? Why don't you practice being flirtatious with him? Why don't you practice being tied up by him or tying him up or power dynamics or whatever it is that you think is difficult, that will be difficult for you when Mr. Right shows up? Get some practice in now.
Yeah. I do have many these are good suggestions for me.
Gee, thank you.
I do have intimate connections, and what I'm feeling and from my past experience, that hasn't been an issue. I think for me the issue starts is when I am in a relationship and I become disrespectful.
Practice being disrespectful with Sage.
But this is how I don't want to be in the future.
But you have to identify it. You can't. So you're going to say, Sage, in the past, when a man did this, I got very disrespectful.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to pretend to do that. And I'll show you what I did. And now, instead of this trying to not make it happen, I'm going to do something different.
Yes.
I'm going to figure out what my adult response is to the stimulus that usually triggers me into a reaction pattern.
Yeah. I think one thing that I have figured out is, and that's why I believe sometimes as much as you can like practice these things, like the unconscious will attract the unconsciousness.
Yep,
So
it's called patterns.
yes, that is called patterns, but certain,
your job is to make it not unconscious.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing that I became aware of is with my past boyfriends, they had some similarities that I know I don't want to attract anymore into my life. And I have become aware of what I want to attract into my life.
Are you being the thing that attracts those kinds of people?
Yes.
Yes. Sage thinks that he's being the thing that's going to bring into his life a highly skilled, sadistic shibari person.
I don't know
He's
what
not.
shibari is, but
rope tying, Japanese rope tying,
okay.
BDSM.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my world, he's showing up like somebody who's going to get tied up with rubber bands.
Mm-hmm. So as a bridge to where I am, what I hear from you is that you believe that I should reflect on the things that I want to attract, and if I am the person that is kind of the match to that, what I want to attract.
What are the new qualities that you have to demonstrate?
Yes.
Whether it's clothing, hairstyle, dietary stuff, how you are with your emotions, with your intellect, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That guy in your culture, that guy will respond to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to put those things out there.
Yeah. And I feel that I am meeting way more men now that I want to attract. So there are these, so this is not my problem. Like there are these men where
What is your problem?
My problem is and I know you say it's chemicals in my body, but my own availability to fully let myself be in this place where I'm full of fear in a relationship, and I feel
Good.
that
Go practice with Sage. Go
I
practice
guess
with Alton.
commitment. I guess commitment is the right word. Like I'm
Uh,
scared of the commitment.
Yeah, but so you have to start committing. So go
because
practice committing
I'm
with
scared
Alton
that
and
I will make
Sage.
the same mistakes and that I
Yeah.
will be a disrespectful person with that
So-
person, no matter, even if I believe that that person now is the one that I wanted to attract, that I will
Yes.
still be talking down, disrespectful, not
So practice.
so.
So have Sage do the things that make you want to talk down to him.
Yeah.
Pretend that you're in a romantic relationship with him and
Again.
figure out what else to say, the different thing.
Well,
You
I
can't
know
just
what
put-
things are. If you're lazy, if you don't like, are not ambitious, if you're like
Okay.
not
That's
like
great. That's great.
standing on your own feet, that
How do
drives
you
me
know that
crazy.
he's not doing those things? Okay. That's the signifiers in your culture that he's not being ambitious because he's a fat, lazy slob, because he doesn't have $1 million in the bank, because he's not working 80
It's
hours
not
a
about
week,
the money.
whatever it is.
No, but
in
that's your assumption. I just want to clarify that.
That's from my culture, not yours.
Yes. Okay.
So in your culture, there are certain signifiers, things that you can see
Yes.
that indicate he's not being ambitious, whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to figure out when those things show up, what are you going to do? Because you know that if you start saying, that's not going to work. That's not going to make him ambitious.
It will make me distancing myself from that
Yes.
person, and then I emotionally distance, and then I put myself like as if I'm superior. I lose the attraction. I know my pattern, and then I'm
Right. So
out.
how do you help him become ambitious?
Yeah, but that's the next topic, because I want a partner where I don't feel like I'm like mothering or like,
Don't do it as his mother. Do it as his partner.
yeah, as a team member, like as a partner,
Yes.
which is what I want. But for that, I need to see, and this is like, it's not about you, right? Like for that like potential person, I would need to see like the potential that that person can actually is like willing to work
So-
on themselves.
So you have a great opportunity. You have a house full of ballless adolescent masculines who are not going to be what you require in the realm of achievement, whatever you want to call it. Now, how do you help them? Do not mother them.
No, but if the thing is, I love to support my friends, and I don't feel the thing is, it is not. I think
I just want you to get the mechanics now.
I understand the mechanics, and I understand
Fine.
the kind of the muscle that I can train there. I do understand that. I think the root of the cause is different. So I think the mechanical training at the gym that I could train with them
Fine.
is not what will help me, because I think the root is somewhere else, and it has to do with my own trust in life and
That's
myself.
a child. That's a child. That's not you as an adult.
That's true, but that's what comes up when I am.
Then you train something differently.
Yeah.
Stop indulging in fighting that child. That child is a recording from your history. So
Yes.
look at Alton, look at Sage, and say, okay, in a week, they're going to be more successful because this is going to show up. Now,
that's something that I'm very good at. And this is something where I don't feel superior. I feel like I can help. I know, like this morning I'm here with Alton. I'm like, hey, look, let's do X, Y, Z, and let's clean your room, and let's do this and this. And
yeah, but
I
that's
would
being
never,
a mother.
And I respect him, and I
That's
don't.
being a mother.
No. But like, it's not in that way. It's a way
So-
of caring. But
So
yeah,
whatever your name is,
Frederica.
I don't know. Puerto Rican?
Frederica.
Frederica, with a K, no doubt.
Why are you saying that?
Because I'm being nasty. You're
But
supposed to
what
not
does it
like me
mean
when I
with
said
the-
that.
No, but what does K mean to you? Like, is that like
Frederica. Like he wears mala beads. I imagine that your name is a K-A.
No, it's K-E. Frederica.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if you really want them to become successful and ambitious, you have to start a fire in them. It's not
And
about solving any problems. It's not about cleaning his room.
yeah, I know that. I
Well,
want
you're
to
not
help
talking
them.
like you do.
No, I know that, but what I'm trying to explain, or where I feel not met with and I mean, you're here to help me, right? Or at least you're giving me your input and your perspective, and I want to make your time and like that you also feel, and we both feel like this is fruitful.
How do you get Alton to clean his room without telling him to clean his room?
Exactly. So to plant a seed in him to feel motivated,
Yep.
to change something, not for me, but for himself, because a feeling that he can feel that he wants more of to attract in. So
Okay. So I want you to figure out with these two, this is just me, it's just an opinion. Those two gentlemen there,
yes,
you're going to figure out something that they don't do that you think would be better for them to do, and you're going to get them to do it without mentioning it.
yeah. That's a good form of manipulation.
Yes, it is. And that's what you're going to need with your husband.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know this like a subtle way of, oh, wouldn't it be lovely to
No, because then you're pointing at it.
yeah.
You cannot so the difficulty is right now for Alton, his dirty room is fine. Who does he have to
It's not.
who does he have to be in his head such that
Yeah.
it's not fine anymore?
Yeah.
It's not about the room, it's
No.
who he is.
Yeah. And how
It's
he
not
wants to
whether
feel. Yeah.
yeah. It's not that Sage is wearing mala beads. He can take off the mala
Mala
beads,
beads.
but he's still wearing them.
Which okay, yeah.
You know, he still thinks that this means something.
Whatever
And
floats your
until
boat.
no, because he's advertising.
You mean and you believe that what he wants to attract, he's not attracting because of the way he's dressing?
No. If this was the first time he'd ever worn all of this, but if this is more than 2 months old, something's happening such that he keeps doing it. Now, it may be something that's happening in his head. He may say he wants to attract women because that's what men do in this culture, but he's actually dressing himself such that women are repulsed by him. Theoretically. You say you want an intimate relationship.
I want a partner to have a family with.
Yes, you want. And how long have you wanted this?
I just came out of a very serious relationship where I thought I met that person. So
In dojo, we would say evidence to the contrary.
So actually, I was very happy for the past year not to have it. And now I'm starting to explore the thought that I want to have it.
Okay, so
So
in
it's
my
like
world,
yes.
in my world, you're wanting children and a family is the same thing but he's doing it with this.
And you believe that I'm not attracting that.
No, I think that what you're doing is you're making children and a family something. Like he thinks that wearing mala beads is going to get him something.
Mm.
You think that having an intimate partner and children is going to get you something.
No. I think for me, I always knew I wanted a child, but I knew.
Just like he's always wanted mala beads. He's always wanted to wear gifts of bracelets on his arm. No, he didn't come out of the womb wanting bracelets. It's a fashion statement.
But for me,
you're wanting children is a
yeah.
fashion statement.
No, I've thought a lot about this, and I have thought about it's not one of those society norms dictating you that this is what you should do when you're like 30 something as a woman. I have really thought this through, and I believe that, of course, like, how can you really distance yourself from
if it was
society?
true, you'd be pregnant.
I think because of my upbringing and the way how I experienced family, it's
Mhm.
really not something that I was trusting at all. So it took me a while to understand that I don't need to repeat the same mistakes.
Much like Sage doesn't need to dress like he dressed 5 years ago. He's like, I grew up believing that I had to dress like this. But now, after a lot of thought, I've decided that I don't have to do the things that my history told me to do. I can wear I can shave the sides of my head and have a little ponytail. It's a fashion statement. Children and relationship, they're fashion statements.
The interesting perspective. Do you have children?
No, just no. I raise enough of them. I have Sage to entertain me in my old age.
Okay.
I was a nanny for 3 years. I worked on a medical ward with sick and dying children.
Mm,
I've been with lots of children in my
yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I'm an anthropologist. Human beings have no instincts. You don't have an instinct to have a child. In the range of being human beings on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
the people who had children were 16 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's no biological clock. That's a psychology thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for whatever reason, you're looking around at your life, and I'm paraphrasing. This is my bigotry. You're looking around at your life and saying it's awfully empty. It's awfully lonely. I can't point to anything and say, look at what I've done. But if I had a partner and children,
Yeah, no, I have a very fulfilling life and I have great projects that I really, really enjoy.
Okay.
And I have great friends and I actually that's why I was always like I'm very nurtured and I feel like of course there are like things that could be better, but in general it wasn't one of those okay, what could it be as an anchor, as a stability in my life externally to give me purpose? A child. It's not like
Okay.
that. I did feel like 2 years ago a moment. I live in Munich where many people in my life are having children and I feel all they talk about is puppies, babies, and dining tables. And
Yep.
I was thinking, am I wrong that this doesn't fulfill me when I listen to their conversations? Am I wrong? Are they wrong? Am I just sitting at the wrong table? But I realized for myself, I was just sitting at the wrong table and that it's okay if I'm not part of that dynamic.
Sure.
So I didn't get like torn away or like dragged into the dynamic of everyone around me is having a kid, so I also want a kid, something like that. And it's really new to me that I can even express that this is a desire I have. So I don't feel like you completely understand where I'm at. I do understand your point that it's like for some people potentially they want this because it gives them purpose and maybe this is why I want it, or because your life is empty and you're lonely and this is why you want it. But I mean, and I will think about it more. My initial intuitive reaction is I don't think that this is my reasoning behind it.
What is your reasoning?
My reasoning is that I first of all believe that I can raise a human in a way that that human will also provide great things for this world, and I can share my experience, my love with that child, and yeah, raise a person that is good for this planet.
Yeah, but you have 1,000 people around you that you could be spending that same amount of energy
I'm
and
doing
getting.
that as well. I believe that I'm trying to
But
positively.
why the kid?
I think, first of all, I want to experience, I mean, it's very selfish, but I think being pregnant, I mean, you cannot be pregnant, but creating life must
Yeah,
be.
now you're buying into advertising.
No, like creating life, like what the human body can actually do, how like your nipples change, your color change so that the baby can find your breast more. Like biology is just so, I don't know, I find this as something I want to experience in my life too.
That's
And I
fine.
think the love that you can have for something that you literally create
And there's the dark side too, the ones that abandon their children in dumpsters and
Yes, of course. And we can always
right.
look for like the clouds in the sky. And trust
Yeah.
me, I have looked at all the clouds
Good.
in the sky, and
Alright.
I'm continuously a skeptic, but I'm trying to actually find the positive
luck.
voices in myself
Good.
to create good things. But I think we are getting a little bit away from your initial point, which was if you want to attract, so what I hear from you is that if you want to attract that into your life, stop wearing this or
Yes. So why would the man,
yeah,
there's a man, the men that you've dated, and this is theoretical, the
yeah,
men that you've dated have been lazy. Maybe they showed up as being very industrious at first, but then they got lazy. So what is there in you?
definitely. And I learned a lot about that. And
Then fine.
I've
Be
that's
the
why I'm
different
saying
thing.
I understood that I know now what I want to attract. I know what I attracted and why I attracted that. And I know that that era has ended, thankfully. And I can see evidence in my
Okay.
life with the people I am attracting that I'm attracting more of the right.
What's different about you?
I am less, when I meet a man that I like, I'm trying to be very aware of my pattern is to help someone and mother someone, very strongly control, to feel loved and to feel somehow that I deserve love because I do a lot for you. So that kind of story is I'm trying to like very consciously step away from, and
Yeah, but what are you stepping into?
I'm stepping into letting myself being helped, stepping into being more on the female side and more on the receiving end. I'm stepping into trusting. I'm stepping into patience. I'm stepping into
What? Sounds
leaning
great.
in. So, and I've had good experience with this, and I can feel that I'm attracting more of what I want. And that's
Good.
my original point is I feel like I'm doing that, and yet my fear, and that's why I'm saying I think we're not getting to the root of the cause, is rather in the part of when it comes to relationships, and I am in relationships, and I think that's just where I'm just lacking experience right now, because I haven't been in a relationship with a man that I feel is on eye level and I respect and I find competent. That I'm scared that I would still make the same mistake, even though I believe I probably just need to try to dance and trust that because I changed and because I can see that I attract the right, I mean, what's right, but for me, a better fit, that I will actually act differently as well in relationships. But since I didn't have that experience yet, I'm scared of that.
Right. And the reason that they do training in the army before they send them to battle, it's not battle.
Yeah.
But you practice the skill sets
Yeah.
before you go to battle.
But in the practice, I'm good. Like my problem comes in when it's like the field.
Then you're not lifting enough weight.
You mean that in the practice, I'm not like, it's not getting heated enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Or something enough.
Yeah. And how could I find out what that is?
You have to invest. I don't know what triggers you. You have to be willing to look at it. Here's you and your husband to be, and you can see you have to see what the stimulus and the trigger and the reaction is.
Yes.
You can't do that with Sage because Sage is nowhere near going to be your husband. So you have to take that pattern and see if Sage can do something that gets you closer to that pattern than not. And you have to figure out what you're going to do instead of not doing the thing.
Yes, that makes sense to me, and that's a helpful suggestion. Thank you.
You're welcome.
another part that, and I don't know this time frame of this call, so maybe we're like over time and
Yeah, there's a friend who's waiting for it.
Okay.
I also want to have you listen to
Okay.
a little bit, but
no
Like-
good.
are we here next week?
But I guess our time is
want to
coming
comment?
to an end, and thank you for the conversation. I enjoyed it.
So that Sage, what she's doing, that leaning in there and that smiling, yeah, that's some teeth.
Okay, I guess that's a compliment. So
It is, but not in your world.
I want to make an observation. Okay, when you said, look at Sage, Sage is nowhere near being your husband. Frederica, you looked at me with sort of like an apologetic look.
really?
Guessing that's what it
No,
seemed.
for me, it's just like I think. No, I was just like, I hope you don't get that the wrong way. That was like
No.
what I was thinking.
Frederica, tell him there is no way I would ever consider being in an intimate relationship with you. Be
You're
honest.
Already with the
You have my
ladies, so I'm not
We're
gonna-
polyamorous. You have my consent.
Okay,
You have
I'm
my
not
consent.
polyamorous, so let's start with that. For instance, that would
Jesus
already.
Christ.
What I should
It's
tell
just
him.
acting, that's method acting.
Oh God, that sounds horrible. I can't.
Yeah, see that right there, that truth, that horrible truth is something you need to practice.
Yes.
Because when you're with your husband, the horrible truth is that he's being a dick, that
I
he's being
can-
lazy.
Yeah, but trust me, there I can like kick his ass. Like that's the
Yeah,
problem.
but
Like,
now
I'm
you
way
have to
too-
practice
But
kicking
he didn't
people's
do
ass.
anything to me, so why
He
should I do that?
exists.
No,
He exists as an
don't work like that.
affront.
I can
Then
show
fine.
up for myself when I need to, but this is like,
But okay,
Yeah.
we can't work with material that's not real,
yeah.
but there's real material. I'm nowhere close to being your husband. And you feel apologetic for that right now.
I think like, how can I tell that at this stage? We spoke to each other
Mm.
5 minutes.
It's a snap
You're-
judgment, but
Yeah.
there's truth in it. You wouldn't have had that apologetic look on your face otherwise.
No, I was more like, how do you feel about this? Since
Yes, you're caretaking his smallness. You're being a mother. You're not being a woman.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Sage, if you can get her into ropes, I will give you a big present.
Okay. So we have
Go
a
away.
waiting line here. So
Go away, Frederica.
okay, it was nice to see you again.
Oh, shut up. Stop that. Stop mothering
It's
me.
true. I'm not
Ugh.
bothering you. I'm okay.
Go away.
Well, thank you.
Go away.
That's rude.
Yes.
Okay. And now we have the next victim on the hot chair.
Oh, victim. Yeah. Great orientation.
There's a whole life that we can create from here.
I think
I just got brand new news. I'm like, how can I set them up for success?
Oh, is this chocolate?
I didn't even know
What?
that.
Aftercare.
Hey, Elise, what do you want?
It's for all of us.
I haven't got it, but I.
Kid.
Hey, Elise, I'm
Just ask
here.
her. Oh, you want attention?
No, I want you to show me that you actually have something, but I'm betting that you don't, and I'm going to have to tell you to go away, little girl, until you grow some ovaries.
I'd like an apology from Elton.
Be the thing that gets the apology. Go cut your wrist. Why would you want an apology from a thing? That's like telling Sage, I want an apology because you're such a ballless wonder. What good is it getting an apology from a ballless wonder? If you have to tell a masculine that you want an apology, that's giving you the measure of that masculine. If you're not showing up in such a way that he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. I'm sorry about that. It was completely my truth in the moment. And that is not how I want our dance to go down. All right? If he can't see that, then let him go.
I have it that I have.
Then fine. You don't need an apology from somebody who can't dance with you. Do you think that Frederica needs an apology from Sage? I'm sorry, Frederica, that I can't be the man who gives you children and a successful life. I'm so sorry. What kind of idiocy is that?
I don't understand the mental move around like needing an apology or not needing an apology. Any further? My interest was in setting up both of you guys as well as having a completion conversation with Elise from stuff from yesterday. I did. I'm concerned that this actually maybe not even actually be live.
Do I seem like I need to be regulated?
No.
Affecting my heavy teaching. I don't think so.
Internet disconnected.
Ah,
Might be the
okay.
weather.
I thought like he's like pausing.
Probably is the web there.
Well, this is still working on my side. And we can still see this transcript live. Oh,
It quit. I don't know why. Are you there? Hello? Up, there you are. Hello? Hello?
Oh my gosh.
welcome back. Were you on the call the whole time?
No, I blanked out. My computer crashed.
Oh,
My $4,000 laptop decided to crash because of a complicated Zoom call.
it's sounding all right. Well, I wanted to understand more about your frames around apologies and how to relate to apologies.
It's, I think, traditionally apologies are for the person wanting the apology. It's like, you did me wrong and I want you to acknowledge that you did me wrong. However that is. Okay? You didn't meet my expectations, or you underperformed or something like that. And the person giving the apology is like, they're like, oh my goodness, I disappointed you, I did something wrong, or whatever it is. In the adult world, it's like it's a speed bump. You're not, you're just saying, I'm over there, I'm dancing with Elise, and somehow we're dancing along, we're doing something, and all of a sudden she goes, eh. And I'm like, I could spend 4 hours psychoanalyzing this, or I could say, God, I'm really sorry about that. And she's like, oh, okay. And off we go again. Apology is it's a made up story.
Okay, well, maybe it'll help ground it out more. Just yesterday, I wanted to get a clear agreement with Elise staying here longer term, and I was very straight about how I felt. And in my world, I was setting boundaries, but in her world or other people's world, it was like not being emotionally attuned. And
Alton's not emotionally attuned. Oh,
yeah,
no
well,
woman. Oh,
I mean, that would be fine if we were just housemates.
yeah. And so historically, is like an implicit energetic agreement where I floated some window of time in covering stuff for her, and then
It's
we wanted to
basically a
get more
working
explicit.
agreement, like for the house,
Yeah.
potentially another agreement.
So we wanted to renew that and get complete with stuff in the past that I had fronted or paid, and it was not
And?
agreed to. And so now, well,
Yeah,
the default is Elise moves out, and that feels bad and or sad. And I also want to be more attuned to her emotional state, or I don't know. I don't know how.
who cares? The agreement is you come up with this amount of money by this time and pay rent, or you're out. That's fine. Who cares? I don't like it. I don't want to leave. I like living here. Well, you better raise the money somehow to live here. Now, you can suck me off every 5 days. That'll cover it. You know, you can sweep, you can clean my room. That'll cover it.
My invitation was to create like more containers to coach or support myself or other people in the house that I think would be enrolled in this, but the rate that
Yeah,
she
yeah.
requested is
What's the
working.
problem, Elise? Elise,
If I was gonna stay here, it would mean I work for Kyle and not Alton, and Alton is just my housemate. That is what would make it workable for me.
so then what's the problem?
We just left for a 10-day Vipassana, and I just learned about this 20 minutes ago that she's moving out.
So what's the why do you need an apology?
You
I would
wanted
say
to
need
express
to.
it.
I did feel that desire this morning, but now after you shared what you shared, I'm like, well, okay, yeah, what is that is an interesting frame.
Elise, do you want him to apologize to you?
He sent me a message earlier today.
Stop.
Not really.
Do you? Then
I've
fine.
already
We're
accepted
done.
where we're at.
Next subject.
Okay.
Okay, well, I
Stop
wanted to set
that.
them
You
up for the next
sounded like a
stage.
6-year-old, and I want to smack you in a not nice way.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
I have vested interest in setting me up for a great next stage in life. I still love her. I want great things for her. And I want to see how I could investigate that in this conversation.
Investigate
that
what?
you've already known a little bit about your experiences with Sage over the first bit of the call, and as well as what you know about with Elise, how they could continue flourishing in the world.
I'm not interested. I'm interested in empowering Elise.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in figuring out how to make her life a success.
Okay, sure. Well, I guess part of that requires like fluency with money or income things that I don't know if is necessarily by default the probable almost certain future, given how all of the income that she made in the past 5 weeks was directly through my referrals and my trust.
Yes, she can't succeed without you. Now, unless she's looking at you and saying, I need your help in this, let her make her own mistakes. If she ends up under a bridge someplace, that's hers. She's not stupid. I know she pretends to be stupid, but she's not. She understands that the reason she got the money was through your connections. If you weren't there giving her the connections, it wouldn't have happened. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like that at all. Part of her feels beholden to you. All right. She doesn't like that either. And so now it's like, hey, Elise, if you want some help, you know where I am. I'm not going to do this for you.
Yeah, was basically unfortunately the conversation.
That's not unfortunately. That's fortunately that she has a friend
Got it.
that says, act like a woman, act like an adult. It's all transactional. Elise knows that. She knows that it costs a certain amount of something to live in that house. And if she's not willing to do what it takes to make that whatever it is, then fine. Then she's making a choice to move out. That's okay.
Yep.
You don't have to rescue her. You want to play to her largeness. Part of the largeness.
Setting her up, and I think I made it too easy or baby-fed her.
Stop it. Stop it. You don't need to talk about what kind of diapers she had.
Okay, so I'll just back off until she's
Yep.
ready to ask for it. Okay.
Or she's not ready to ask, or she may never ask for it. She may never talk to you again. She may, we may find out tomorrow that she went down, slipped a needle in her vein, and now she's dead. Oh, well. There are going to be casualties, Alton.
How do I prevent Sage from? Okay, all right. I'll just.
You let them make their own mistakes. You let them come to you and ask you for assistance. Stop caretaking their smallness. Elise does not need to be treated like she's 14 years old.
Okay. Mhm.
Hadelise needs to get hungry. Hadelise needs to understand that there are metaphorical children that she needs to keep alive. Right now, she's just la 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 la.
Can I deliberately practice
Nope.
killing friends with kindness?
Stop. Only caretake their largeness.
Okay, caretake their largeness. That seems like a good towards frame. Okay, I do want to have them particularly have a good dynamic in connection with you here.
Ooh.
But people were not asking for things, Eldest. I'm not swooping anybody. Okay, listen.
Not with that tone in your voice.
I'm trying to.
Not you, Hadelise.
Okay, thank you.
Hadelise,
What?
how much longer are you going to be in that house?
Until tonight.
Okay. So before you leave, have Sage coach you in being a sadistic rope tire.
I have it that I would be coaching him.
I don't know. He says he likes it when his rope, the person who's tying him up, is an in tune sadist.
What I didn't tell you, Cray, is that she's the one I was thinking of when I said that.
Then why did you not take it further, Hadelise? Did he use the safety word?
No,
Why not?
it wasn't my intention.
It's always your intention with these little flowering adolescent masculines that they get to own what it's like to not tough something out to the end and for them to use the safety word.
But I thought you want to get a ramped. You said ramped?
Yes.
An orange, not ramped.
She does. I mean, it's not like she's going to, put her foot in his back, slip a noose around his neck and start pulling on it. That's not the object. The object is to tie him up in such a way that it's too intense for him. And for him, the intensity isn't going to be the pain. He's going to avocado the pleasure.
What? Wow, look at that smile. Jeez, okay.
He can take the pain. Almost any masculine can grunt out the pain. We're taught that.
Yeah.
It's the pleasure that they're going to say avocado to.
I avocado to tickling a few days ago.
Yeah.
That's very true. Okay.
How do you feel? So you've got the same problem that Sage has got. How do you walk through and people are like, oh shit, that's power. You walk around like you're a puppy that's done something bad and is waiting to be punished. Hadelise.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Perfect example of it. Yeah, so right there, that's where you're not letting anybody get into, Hadelise. That's why you didn't show them that. That's why they're letting you go. Because they don't know about that part of you. I don't think.
Not on this stream.
Why? Who cares? So you're okay with showing your hangdog puppy on a live stream, but you're empowered feminine. You're not. That's pretty fucked up. Yeah, what's the smile about, huh? Like the way those ropes feel, Hadelise?
feel poked.
Yeah, good. And why in the poking are you smiling like that? Why are you suddenly paying attention? What does the poking, so Sage, listen, what does the poking allow you to be, Hadelise? What does it mean that somebody's poking you like this? That they're an asshole? That they want to hurt you?
Resistance is more fun to play with or tie with or fuck with.
Who do you get to be? Why would anybody be doing this to you?
To instigate me and get me to
To
fight
what?
them. To feel my power.
Yes. Now, why would anybody want to feel your power? Because it's fucking attractive. Because it's something they don't have that is valuable.
I know.
Because you're a Stradivarius.
I don't know what you just said.
It's a very expensive violin that makes incredible music because of the way it's built. Yeah, that right there, right there. That little moan of pleasure. Yeah, get out. You don't know how to make money. You're right. You're right. Oh, wah, 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 wah. From that place you're at right now, how many hours would it take for you to come up with a month's rent?
3.
3. Yeah, there you go. Oh, look, it's French doors out into a garden. Oh, and look,
That's right.
it's Sam Vite.
That's me. Great to meet you.
Oh, Jesus Christ, another polite one.
I love music. Do most of it sounding.
Anything? What do you want, Sam Vite?
I don't know. Alton told me to come on here. He told me
Oh, God, Jesus, again he does this.
We had a great,
Jesus.
juicy, spicy circle tea group yesterday, spicy tea group yesterday, and somebody was very high appetite for that as well, as was Sage. And I have it that the incredible power that could be unlocked.
Oh,
But some of it's really getting a lot of your work. What I would assert. I have a strong interest in seeing that version in the world.
Yeah, advertising mumbo jumbo. What do you want Sam Vite here for? Why? God, you look like you're cartooned.
a little bit. Yeah, it's the cutoff with the background, but
Oh,
I'm here to, I guess, learn more about myself.
why? Why do you care? Why do you care about that character that you think is I? I don't care about your character. I care about what kind of life you want to have.
Right. Expressing that in a way that doesn't let that character get in the way.
Yeah, until you prove otherwise, you are that character.
Right now I am.
Yeah. So what does the character want that you're not currently getting?
Feel more free.
in a broad generic sense? Do you want to learn to be a nudist? Do you want to be what particular area?
Expression in general.
You want to go down the street yelling about faggots and dykes and to say all kinds of nasty, horrible things?
No,
What is it that you want?
there probably many times when there's something useful to say that doesn't come out.
Useful in what way? Are you trying to seduce somebody? Are you trying to do improvements in their blueprints? Are you like a coding problem?
Sometimes all of the above. Yeah. It depends on the
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah, so there's a particular kind of situation. It could be programming, it could be seduction, it could be this, that your character is saying, oh, don't say anything because probably some value negative thing will happen.
Yeah.
And it's saying that because something like that happened when you were 6, 7, 8 years old. And it's taking that and now templating it onto your present day. And if you took a step back, you're like, I'm trying to seduce her. I may not, but if I tell her what great tits she has, I'm pretty sure she knows that. And she looks like the type that would appreciate that. So even though my mother would kill me if she heard me say this, I'm going to try to say it because mom's not here. I don't know, something like that. I don't know what your childhood meaning making is
Right.
about what that particular thing is about not saying. You look like you look like you put a lot of thought into coming across as a non-bad person. And I imagine that a lot of those things in your monoculture where you come from, a lot of the things that you want to say are things that a bad person would say.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to stay in that monoculture, then keep obeying those rules. If you want to live a different kind of life, then you're going to have to learn to speak German. You're going to have to do the things that your original monoculture says, no, bad people do those things, or bad things will happen to you if you say those things.
Mm.
Well, you practice, call Alton a chink, see what happens.
Well, that wouldn't be prudent for me, given that this is recorded.
Well,
Yeah.
I can call him a chink.
You can, but I have a different circumstance.
Oh yeah, I can look at Francesca and say that's an Eastern European dummy of some kind. Yeah. So, Samvit, what could you say to Francesca
You
with a
mean me?
K
I'm
E?
Friederike.
I've just updated.
Frederica with a K, yeah, no doubt. She's special. So what could you say on a live feed to Frederica
Why did I just come here?
because you like this? Okay, I was going to point to your little knee in the background anyway.
Anyways,
What could you say to her that ordinarily you say, I could not say that?
I think your accent sounds funny.
Okay, so great. So you did it.
Yeah.
Now, can you raise the temperature a bit? Yeah, see her looking down?
Mm.
Oh, wow. Do you have a thing for his kind of pixels, Frederic?
You not no, I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I didn't
No, you
think
don't know.
about it.
Come on,
Or
Samvit,
just
raise
upload
the
your
temperature.
links. There you go. I think that sounds.
Sorry.
Kind of pixels.
Sorry.
Samvit, increase the temp.
This is a relevant thing. It's that raising the temp on some screen that's streamed and recorded, that seems like a pickle for me, given that I have
You have a
concern.
public life. Yeah. Okay. So fine. Can you do it without risking your exposure?
Then there's such a filter.
It's still a filter, but you're just trying to raise it a little bit.
Hmm.
You could say something like, I've never been attracted to an Eastern European before.
I'm German. I'm not Eastern European, but okay.
Americans don't know the difference.
No, I have lots of German friends. I'm trying to see if I can get a rise out of her. I'm trying to see what her sensitivities are.
Hmm.
Most Germans look down their noses at Eastern Europeans because they're lesser beings. The German high culture, you understand.
That doesn't do anything to me.
Mm. They don't Samvit. So then if you can't practice on a live feed, then fine. Find some other way to do this kind of practice. And it's going to be males, females, and don't do this with your family. Don't do this with people at work, and don't do this with your intimate circles. Because they're used to you being the way that you are. So you want to practice being this new you with other people. Now, hopefully you find a gym someplace where
Right.
other people are trying to be different.
Or Alton's place.
Yes. Or Alton, yeah. You go there and you practice, I don't know, pick a TV character, did you see, what was oh God, I'm losing my mind. Okay, let's do this the hard way. Angelina Jolie was married to Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt played somebody's alter ego in a movie.
Fight Club?
Fight Club, yes.
Yeah.
So
Good.
go to Alton's place and see if you can be Brad Pitt in the Fight Club.
Hmm.
See what happens.
I can do that.
Yeah, well, I doubt it, but yeah, you could try. Remember to bring your rubber gloves too.
You can try in doses.
Hmm.
Oh, I mean, I'm
What is she doing?
Why? What am I doing? I'm trying to help
beckoning.
to like encourage him.
Oh, I don't know what it's like in Germany, but it looks like you're flirting with him.
What?
Alton thinks the same.
You think I'm flirting? Okay, I'm not aware.
Yeah, but look at
how I
yourself on the
look.
camera. Look at yourself on the camera.
I'm sitting on a loudspeaker here in the corner, so okay. I'm just trying to support him because I can understand, I can relate.
Samvit, do you think that she's flirting with you?
She might be.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Frederic, why are you at Alton's house?
I have a project 20 minutes from here and I wanted to visit Alton
Why?
because we are friends and we're getting along well and we have a very interesting connection.
Okay, space.
And I like to be around him, not all
So-
the time, but most of the time.
There went the visual.
Hmm.
How convenient.
No, something happened to the camera. And
Alton, does she fit your pattern? Is she another highly intellectual feminine who's seeking to have her passion come out more?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I've never articulated it that way, but that's really crisply said. Yes.
my passion. Oh, can you share a bit more on that?
Passion
Also
is the
wanna-
root.
I personally,
What?
I had a selfish interest of having somebody evoke these versions of Federica. I totally get that maybe, yes, Cray, it's more enjoyable for you to dance with Federica. And I,
But this is about Samvit and not about me. So
Fine.
spotlight
Samvit,
perfect on him,
that's my
or-
personal selfish preference. I'm naming it.
Yes, that's fine.
Tell
And
me to shut
I
the
have-
fuck up and pay attention to
that-
Samvit then.
Cray could evoke from Samvit.
No, Gray is not evoking from Samvit. Samvit is very concerned that he's on live feed, and he's not going to let any of his.
Gray, you're way more skilled than that. You could totally like slowly evoke the parts that are still reasonable to have recorded and streamed, while also him getting some juice from
Yeah.
the thing.
There's also a difference between me being the one who is spicing someone else versus talking about myself, which I'm very willing to do.
You're very willing to do which?
Talking about myself.
You shouldn't be.
But that seems more dangerous. Oh, okay, I mean,
It shouldn't be.
No, I understand. But I should say-
Why wouldn't?
shout out to the cables, yeah.
Because you're too concerned about what other people what the
Or you can-
sometimes women like sitting on bass speakers.
Oh,
The right song is playing.
Gray's really just okay. Look at that face of Gray. Look.
It's something you're polite. You don't want to threaten people. You want to be seen as politically correct. And so it's like and so it's like I like talking about myself, but only about certain areas.
That's fair.
You know, it's like there's lots of people who can ask, "Oh, what kind of sexual things would you do to Frederic?" And they would start listing them. You're not going to do that,
Hmm.
but
Great, what's
but
the
you've
balance?
already thought about it.
Man, now no, okay, great. Just evoke we want to go for like the more PC things. Just start there, and you're so good. You're great. I know that
You're controlling this, Alton.
I'm definitely
No, he's not, because
to
look at Samvit's face and look at Frederic's face.
Federica.
No,
Okay,
I'll call you Fred.
go ahead. You're more than welcome.
I don't know how you do this, Alton. There is no way that this makes any sense to me at all.
and yet here we are.
And yet here we are. Alton somehow, I don't know what the rest of his life, but invariably, 9 times out of 10, he has women show up here and they are successful as defined by the culture, which usually means that they have to be very masculine in a lot of ways. And there's like an uncomfortableness in their pelvis, you know, that says I want to express myself more. And their successful part says that's going to get in the way of our success. And so there's this like little tug of war going on. And then sometimes they show up here and I do the cray thing, and then they do that. And that's like, you know, yeah, that shows up at a board meeting. That's sexual harassment right there. How is your luck with the ladies, Samvit? Assuming that the ladies.
Yeah, I'm married and luck has been good historically.
So how was the doctor's visit? Well, I've got cancer. My leg's going to be cut off, but I'm still alive.
Right.
I didn't understand it, Gray.
It was too technical, the answer that Samvit gave.
I think that I'm a good conversationalist when I'm connecting with someone. And that has made for good conversation.
If you're talking to a bunch of Trump Republicans, that's fine, but I'm a I'm a good conversationalist when I'm trying to connect with somebody. I'm like, if this is the juice of you, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Yes. This is what good Germans are like, or Germans from like 2 generations ago.
I am funny.
That's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. Sorry.
Semvi,
Sorry.
it looks like you have a life that may not be all that you thought it was, but that you're okay with it. I would highly recommend that you don't talk to me. I'm about the life that you can't get where you're at now.
Mm.
And I think that if you paid attention to that, you would put the life that you're at now in a great deal of stress, if not downright jeopardy. And so
Why do you think
there,
that?
because you look, you look like she did when she first came in, that she's like, I am the good German girl, and I have successful, and I am supporting people in my motherly role. And when I must have sex, I lie down and I think of the Führer.
You haven't seen me. It's not true.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, she wasn't acting like this before.
Mm.
Okay. Now she's a little bit more thing. And I don't think you need to become a little bit more in your life. I think that your life has you be a particular way. Now, forgive my bigotry, but in the Indian subcontinent, there's the idea that you do the right things until you're 50, if you're a guy, and then you can turn over everything to your family and you can go head out for the holies. So you're not going to go for the holies, but you're going to be going for a lot of other stuff when you hit 50. Get to 50, get your kids married off, set up the wife with a good endowment, be successful, and then say, okay,
Oh, see,
I
the way
did all
I'm
the things.
just to integrate that, the way I'm living right now is with the plan to integrate that all into the same one flow. I may not be doing it yet, but that's the work in progress. It's
How are you going to take the rest of your intimate family along with you? They're not going to want to do that,
to do what?
to integrate all that other stuff. They're happy where they're at. They don't have that wild hair up their ass that there's something missing. I don't think so.
Hmm. Or do they do? But theirs is also not integrated.
They're fine with it not being integrated. Your mother's generation is like, well, of course I didn't have everything I wanted. That's why that's part about being in a family. That's part about raising children. That's part of getting married and being part of a community of some kind, that you don't get everything that you want.
Right. Is the culture of the group identity superseding the individual identity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are perfectly valid ways of being. You, unfortunately, have got a smell of the other stuff, and that's tickled your fancy.
Mhm.
And now you somehow have to balance coming from that monoculture and being in at least the reaches of that monoculture.
Do you have to pick?
Yeah, it's really hard because, I mean, no offense or anything, but it looks like you really want the heroin. You're not interested in the weed.
In this analogy, what's the heroine?
I know something big, something that if your mother found out, she would die.
Hmm.
And you're like, we're human beings. We can do all kinds. And she's like, not those things. It's like, again, forgive the bigotry. It's like these highly educated, again, subcontinent Indian men who pour gasoline on their daughters and set them on fire because they have brought shame on the family name.
Hmm.
All right.
Mom thing resonates more than the dad thing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that they have beliefs
Yes.
that don't match
Yeah,
yours.
there's a strong culture of one should be this way.
Yep. And you're not, but you've been playing the game. And now it's beginning. Now the underwear is getting a little tight. And I highly recommend that you don't itch that itch. Find something else culturally appropriate to to soothe yourself.
I'm sure you're being facetious when you say you highly don't recommend it.
No, I don't. I don't have a right way of being human. I have what works. And you're like the you're like the I mean, again, forgive me, Facebook. You're like the, oh my God, maybe having sex with 20 men in a row would be really cool. And I'm like, no. But I really want it. I'm like, I've seen what happens when people go after their individual dreams when they come from a more restrictive culture than not. And usually their spouses, their children, their parents, their workplaces don't get it.
How do you reconcile this with the wide culture that's also Indian of like liberation in as part of integrated into like the culture itself?
Liberation is not the same thing as indulgence. You're wanting to indulge in my world. You're not looking for liberation. Unless you're going to do the tantric liberation through experience, which I don't think you know about yet. So
I know about it.
you shouldn't have said that
Why not?
because it's letting too much knowledge out there. It's admitting to too much.
No, the tantric system is not necessarily restricted to sexual. It's about expressing stuff in form. Sexual domain is a known spicy version of it, but it's a generalization.
Like I said, it looks like you're looking for spice. You're not looking for liberation. That's just my opinion. Like Frederica is looking for a husband and children. Yeah, that's her story about what it is. I still don't know what they represent to her.
Why do you think I'm looking not for liberation, but for spice?
Liberation is cooler. You look like you're looking for heat.
What?
What she's doing right now, how she's acting right now, you want to be able to do things. You want that aliveness on her face right now. You want, yeah, right there. You want that. I think you might make it about that you want to make it happen, but in reality, you want to do it so that you can be that. So that you're not this like thing. Because I think in your meaning making that this means this and then lower down.
I think that it's trying to balance letting loose and not making mistakes.
Well, yeah, you all know, that if you're beginning something, you will make mistakes. And if you're riding a motorcycle for the first time and you're at 80 miles an hour, the mistakes can be very, very costly.
Right. So you start with the bicycle.
Yes. But you see, that's the problem. Starting with, you're not satisfied with the bicycle.
That's true.
The bicycle will be a starting point for you. And once you start, it's really
dangerous for me.
Yep. I highly recommend bungee cord jumping or throwing yourself out of planes, base jumping, squirrel suits. But you don't want that kind of spice.
That's not. I find that kind of stuff to be unnecessary. Yeah, because I don't want to have to only get it from an activity. I want to be it.
Yeah, but so see if you can find a character in a movie that represents something close to the way that you want to be and watch them for a little bit and then imagine that person in your life.
As me or as my friend?
As you. That you're actually being that way in your life. at work, with your wife, with your kids, with your parents, and just see how that's going to go over.
And now you're saying imagine it, not imitate it.
No, don't. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. I think that you have a huge itch. Okay. For you, I don't, there's no way of measuring it. But for you, there's a real hunger, a real itch, a real dissatisfaction. And you don't understand that it's not like, oh, gee whiz, I'm just going to go have sex with a bunch of people, or I'm going to go, be a cannibal for a day, and then I'll come back and it'll be okay, and I'll go back to my regular life. It doesn't work that way. That level of compartmentalization, it leaks everywhere.
Right.
And so I'm if your kid or kids are still in grade school,
Okay.
at least get them to high school. Get them to where they're 14 or 15, and if dad starts going wacko, they're already pretty much who they're going to be by that time. I have one person who I dance with. She's like, mid 60s, and she's been with her husband a very long time. And she is curtailing her desires to be wild and crazy out of the sense of honor that she has about not abandoning her husband. Young people don't have a lot of that. They've been together 45 years, and they've been through some really rough times. And she really wants to do this stuff. But for her to break that sense of honor in herself would be too detrimental.
I find myself not believing that it would be necessarily a big problem.
No,
Yeah. Intuitively, it seems like it would make me more me, and that would be more natural.
you want Trump to be more Trump?
I'm talking about myself.
Yeah, I know, but you're not just yourself. You're a member of a bigger circle. They're used to you being like this.
Yeah, but I can, if I up level, then that ripples out. That's okay.
Okay.
No?
Like if you're going the freedom route, yeah, you just get calmer and a little bit weirder, and you spend a lot of time watching grass grow or whatever it is. But if you're looking the spicy route, it tends to leak out.
Okay, so then I'm not understanding. What is the spicy route?
I don't know. It's what she's doing now. She's not being spicy. Yeah, right there. That's spice. That right there. Now, I don't know how that's going to look in your life, but there's a emotional spiciness that I think you're wanting. It doesn't look intellectual. And it doesn't look like it's purely sex, but it's the street food of
Vitality.
yes.
That'd be nice.
It is, except that if you're with people who are used to fine dining.
I would pick it. Yeah.
It's like your kids are like, oh, let's go see the Taylor Swift, and you're saying no, let's go see the dead Kennedys. Yeah, that's fine. And again,
yeah, but you're very convinced that it would necessarily be like a mismatch for my circumstances. That's the part where I'm not sure, like,
what?
If that's true.
Your public face.
I'm still limited for sure right now.
Good.
My habituation though, that's not. Is that necessarily because I'm right that I should be to keep my circumstances? I don't know. I think it might just be a habit.
Yep. And other people's wanting you to be the Samvit that they know and love and respect and can predict, and doesn't cause the kind of waves that they don't have. I imagine that your kind of vitality isn't going to sit well with your family. I just like to be really clear with people that the chances, if you walk down this path for more than 50 or 60 feet, it's going to change you. And you're going to have different values. And it gets worse in relating to the people.
Why did you walk down that path? What was the reason to change your values?
Because I wanted to understand what it was to be a human being. I grew up multiculturally, Southeast Asia. Father was a diplomat, and so I had all of this confusion all the time. My family, the embassy staff, the locals. We lived on the local economy. And so I was very, very confused about what it was to be a human. And I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out, when I was a teenager, I was like, I'm going to figure out what the best way is to be a human being. I'll write a 25-page pamphlet. I'll pass it out, and there will be nirvana.
Can I add something to this?
Only if it's spicy.
It's rather to the point from Samit, what you mentioned, or both of you, in regards to if you change and you grow and you feel like your surrounding might not fit to you anymore and you outgrow the people around you and the fear of what that will mean to the relationships in your life. At least that's what I understood from you. That's what happened to you, and that maybe your family and your current relationships will not match anymore with the person you can become. But that you have this itch of exploring more outside of your current circle and going where you get energy and feeling more of that and feeling more like the spicy level or exploring, and that might mismatch with your current surrounding and what that will mean for you in the future, and that might hold you back.
Great. You can synthesize. Now what?
No, I'm just saying that I understand that, and I've been going through something myself that is very similar. But in the end, I believe that it's important to be truthful for yourself. And if you feel an itch and you feel that your surrounding doesn't nurture you anymore and you're going to get stimulated and you want more and other and different things, then you need to go that path and be truthful to yourself and become the person that you are.
That's your monoculture, the monoculture of the individual versus the monoculture of the community.
Yeah, and I understand that also where we're coming from is very different, but I believe finding the courage in yourself to try it out and trusting also your current community that they can grow with you, at least to a certain extent. I mean, it didn't work for me, and I just learned from myself.
It didn't work for you, but yet you're saying it's possible.
I guess there's no black and white, it's a spectrum, and there are things, because if you are in a group dynamic and you change, the whole group changes. You can't do anything about
Samvit,
that.
don't listen to her. She doesn't understand. Okay.
I do. What's the worst that has happened to you?
To the people around me, they've gotten divorced.
No. I'm saying from you making this choice, which clearly I would assume you're pleased with.
I am one person on a world of aliens.
It's also safer, right? Because the pain, you're distancing yourself emotionally and you can't get hurt by the people around you that much in that way.
Cows can't hurt me. They don't speak my language. They have no idea how to hurt me.
Yeah, but that's also something, I'm not so different in that sense. So I'm not judging. I can understand that where you are. I feel that still, I think it can be seen, or like an assumption or hypothesis could be that that's also a way to protect yourself from pain.
Yeah, it could be. And it could be that there are little gremlins speaking messages to me from the moon, too.
When you're talking to me, do you feel like you're speaking to an NPC?
Me?
Yeah.
I think I'm speaking to somebody who wants to pretend it, who is pretending to be an NPC.
Is that everyone, or is that me?
No, no, no. No,
So these
I
people who-
live
Yeah.
I live in a town of 2,500 people on the coast of Maine, and there was 80% of them voted for Trump, and the 80% will vote for him again. Those are the NPCs
Why did you move there?
because it's quiet. My wife has Parkinson's, and we need to be at sea level, and we both understand the culture of New England, and I don't have to interact with people. I'm an introvert.
Can you say more about what it means for someone to pretend to be an NPC versus be an NPC? If we
There's
are expression,
there are little glimmers. There are little like Shrek. Did you see the movie? You remember how she in the end levitates and then has those rays going out? Okay, so there are in NPCs don't have that.
Hmm,
There's no actual communication. There's just a stimulus response.
right.
So if there's an actual communication
I have
going on,
spontaneity.
yeah.
There's
Well,
not 100%, but there's a
you have a sparkle behind your jawline. That's how I read it. That to me is how I like, oh, that might be somebody who isn't actually an NPC.
a sparkle behind the jawline. I have no idea what that means.
It's synth, what's it called? Synthesia.
Confusion.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not
So-
referring to my words. You're referring to an actual sensory experience.
Yes. Like when she starts talking from her head, straight NPC.
Yeah.
Program. You see that you smiled at that? That you smiled at that? That is a really dangerous sign.
Well, I felt it too.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to say that.
I'm saying it like an indirect way. 'Cause it's like,
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
But I'm saying if you were really an NPC,
I
you
would.
would not have said that.
Right.
Oh my God, it's 10:14. Can I go, Alton?
Somebody giving any last questions here? I want to do some deliberate practice work with Craig before you head out.
Say
What?
again, I didn't hear what you said.
If there's any deliberate practices that we could take on before Craig leaves.
Who?
Well, I guess I have a question for you, Craig. It's like you told me to imagine my character. What else would you recommend? Give me my homework.
Don't.
No, I'm interested.
No, I don't want you to be.
I'm an explorer.
Yeah, there's a difference between exploring the gardens and actually being an explorer. Look at Frederica. That is something to explore in many, many different ways. That is what you want to be doing, not with her and not because it's sexual, but because I believe that you look at Frederica and you say there is an undanced with fire there. And you're like, how do I get close to it? How do I dance with it in such a way that she acknowledges it? How do I dance with it in such a way that not only does she acknowledge it, but she wants it to get bigger? And that is not going to sit well with your life at all. You're looking for interpersonal spice, relational danger, relational carnivore, relational predator prey. And that is not going to sit well with your life. Have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
No.
Go watch that, or just watch a couple. Well, it's better if you watch the whole movie.
I'll write that down.
You too, Frederica.
Okay.
Any deliberate practice we could take on here? Anything that we could pick on?
Leave Sam Veet alone.
Only
If
his
he
pocket
comes,
is not.
if he comes knocking, then fine, you have to dance with him.
But like only titrate the dose.
Yeah, I mean, so if he is,
I think for
what he
me, the
says he
recording
is,
is a big factor, right?
what?
If the recording was not there, it would be, I think that's a significant factor for me because I like think about the future a lot.
Yeah,
And if I'm going to make a mistake, I should learn how to do that offline.
yes, I agree with you. And if you're going to flash somebody, do it offline. Yeah, I think one of the things, Alton, that you may want to develop some respect for is look at the complexity and the solidness of their lives. A lot of people want to go smoke a little dope or do a little blow or, go down to Vegas and get crazy for a weekend, but they really don't want their lives to change. They may think they do. And so if you're looking at somebody and from what you can gather, they have a solid life, be real careful about that.
All right.
But if they're going to mess it up, let it be on them.
Oh, I see.
Don't say, "Oh, let me light your fuse for you." Don't do that.
Hmm.
There's a reason that their lives are very solid. They may be chafing, but they're very solid for a reason.
Wow.
Well, there's a part of me that vehemently rejects the idea of settling.
Look around. Look around at your life. The evidence, I think, would be that you are settling. Given what you suspect that you are, if you look around at your life and look for the evidence, not what you think, not what you feel, but look at the evidence.
Opposite of me.
It's okay. It's okay to have a settled life. It's okay to put your children's well-being first. It's okay to come from a communal aspect and say, it's more important that these people succeed than I get to go to Vegas. It's a perfectly valid way to live.
Mm. You can be happy either way.
Yes, absolutely. And you'll have regrets either way.
Mm.
Absolutely. And so
Can you have it all? Or at least minimize the trade-off?
you can, but it's a shit ton of work and it's going to be costly.
What kind of cost?
The cost is either going to be in the authenticity of your expression and being, or it's going to be in the cost to people around you who can't take the heat. It's much easier to buy into a monoculture than to try to juggle many monocultures.
Why are you saying many instead of 2 years and theirs?
There's I know plenty of people that have 3, 4, 5 different monocultures, depending one's at work, one's with their family, one's with their birth family, one's at church,
Hmm.
one's with the boys out drinking.
I see. But if you're integrated, then they're all one, aren't they? For you, from your perspective.
It's so there's a thing called the monoculture of multiculturalism, which doesn't exist on the planet. That's possible, but we're working on it. I'm working on it. Slow. I'm not going to get to it in my lifetime. I hope to put enough bricks down so that somebody else can come along and do something with it.
Which is to say, to make the macro culture open to a specific any monoculture.
Which means that you're getting rid of the idea of monoculturalism. You have to find a different orientation than these are the values that I hold dearly. These are the meaning makings that I hold dearly. As best as I can figure it out right now, it's functionality.
Hmm.
So you're trying to figure out what it is that you want to have happen, and then you're trying to find the most efficient way of doing it, the most the most expensive way of doing it, the most inclusive way of doing it, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's the goal, and you're willing not to just come at it from one perspective. It's like it's like happiness. People are chasing happiness in a lot of different ways. And when they did a meta-analysis, there's a community in rural India that is dirt poor, but by the definitions of what happiness is, this is the happiest community on the planet. And so it's like if your goal is happiness, then you have to be willing to step aside from maybe it doesn't involve iPhones. You know, who knows? Hey, it's 10:24. God dang it. Anything else?
It was beautiful, Craig. I think.
Ah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
You
ah.
You can receive
will
it.
continue receiving and experiencing and practicing.
Frederica, what do I value receiving from you?
You can just hear and accept the thankfulness and
I didn't ask that.
no, but
I'm
you can still
asking
receive
you,
it.
I'm asking you, what do you think I'm going to highly value receiving from you? Thanks.
Change or like a seed that you planted for me to
Your
potentially
teeth, your claws, your carnivore, your predator.
I will think about that.
Yeah, I bet you will.
What's that about?
We're here to evoke that.
Okay.
See, Samvit is saying, me too.
Okay.
Halted shuddering.
Why is he shuddering? He's all in on this.
No, he's not. He has an idea about what carnivorous feminines are like, and he's like, not yet. No, not yet. No. Soon, sometime in the next 2 or 3 years.
Mike's help.
Yeah,
6 months or something like
good. Yeah, you don't like those pixels at all, do you, Frederic?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, good. Okay. Can I go?
You can go, Craig.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
What did he mean with the pixels?
We'll take it off the stream and then we can complete debrief on here. Oh, don't know how to do that on this.
You can just end, no?
Oh, it's frozen. That's what happened.
I came back because you're saying something about taking it off the screen.
Ah, there it is. Ah, it's like really freezy. Hmm.